Late at night, the doctors and the TV do give them a fright. The movies are cheesy and so's the host. Look out, honey, here's 13 ghosts. And Dr. Destruction's Crimson Theater, Bill's the monster, eater. And Dr. Destruction's Crimson Theater, Dr. Destruction's Crimson Theater, ghoulies, come on!
Ghoulies, here we are once again on Crimson Theater with a very strange show, a combination of drive-in intermission footage along with interviews with local personalities involved in the Orson Welles celebration. And I see John Oldman, you're back.
Thanks for having me.
I said Oldman, I meant Old Ham.
Exactly.
He's an old ham. You should see him work the crowds over there in front of the Keno Outdoor. And, well, Spiffy the hot dog has come back. It's been pretty wild out there for one of the crazy Keno Outdoor protests. Hot dogs, I saw a giant coil. At least I think I did. Anyway, so John, it's been a while since you've been on the show.
Yes, sir.
And now you're back. Now we're in the month of May. And what the heck is going on with the Keno Outdoor?
We're just we're setting up some more rallies here in the near future. We've had some change in the people within the organization that's working to save the Keno. And the location there, just work at this point.
It's a lot of work, and we're going to have another rally, I think.
Rally's coming soon.
Where's that going to be this time?
We're looking at doing this on 80th Street around 39th Avenue.
Oh, wow.
Up and down the sidewalk.
Well, you know, you could prolong, the intensity and the passion, say, of a rally because, you know, you have the convenience store right on the corner there get a beverage, get some water, get something to eat. Number one, number two, whatever you need to facilitate.
Exactly.
There you go. I think that's the plan, but it can't wait too long.
And we're looking at doing that real soon.
Okay.
We may even set it up this week.
We should set it up tonight.
Okay, let's do it next Saturday.
Next Saturday. Does anybody got a date? Come on, we've got staff diligently working here. The 23rd.
Saturday the 23rd?
Nah, that ain't gonna work. I'm in Grays Lake.
Then you set the date.
What's the next after the 23rd? The 28th? May 30th. May 30th. It's set in stone.
10 a.m.
Huh?
10 a.m.
10 a.m. on 80th and 39th Avenue.
Pack a bag lunch and let's stay all day.
Sounds like a blast to me.
Bring a lawn chair.
Bring a lawn chair. Sounds like a plan. It is? What is? Of what? It's the 16th? Oh, you lied to me. Let's go for the 16th of May then.
The 16th
and bring it on, baby!
The 16th.
Bring it on. We need people out there in hot dog costumes. We need a pit costume. Hamburgers, a cup. You're going to be there. All right. You know, you got this kind of Monster Zero thing going on. I just can't put my finger on it, but it's cool. That's my favorite weenie back there. Terrible conditions. So the next meeting, that's the big news, right?
The next rally
is May 16th, 10 p.m.
10 a.m.
10 a.m. You know, I'm a night person.
Yep.
At PDQ, or basically 39th Avenue and 80th Street, or somewhere in that area. All right, you heard it here. Breaking news on Crimson Theater. Any other comments, John?
Nope, we just asked and say thank you to everybody for the support and the continued support. We need it. I think that we do have an opportunity still to save the Keno Drive-In. We just need to apply a little more pressure.
Raise more attention. There's a guy out there, I think, that would like to get involved in this project.
Welcome him aboard then.
All right, sounds good. All right, ghoulies. Now we've compiled some very interesting drive-in intermission footage that you probably have not seen elsewhere. So enjoy some of that and some great interviews with the Orson Welles people and whatever little poopy Piero can fit in between. Get right to it, ghoulies. Ah, there you are, ghoulies. I hope you're enjoying this night of Orson Welles and drive-in theater intermission footage. It's kind of the best of two worlds there. Of course, Orson Welles, they're celebrating Orson Welles in Kenosha. I'm sure he's rolling over in his grave right now at the very thought of that, but a lot of interesting events are going on. I'll have a little bit more about that at the end of the show, but we are here with J.H. Grimson. Okay, do you shop at Mike Bjorn's Fine Clothing?
I just might occasionally shop at Mike Bjorn's.
Well, you could just tell he's international man of mystery himself, Mr. Bjorn.
Yeah.
All right, now
you could also tell I'm a big Dr. Destruction fan. I've let my hair grow since watching your show. So.
Okay, I see that. Well, that's good. Fashion's taking a turn for the best now here on Crimson Theater. Now, my question is, I know there's been some issues with various groups. The original group was sort of penetrated by another group, which then they thought you had a little bit too much fire and controversy. So then you left, and they had a happy meal meeting at the Pleasant Prairie Town Hall, which everybody thought they won some victory. And basically, I've seen that once you're out of the media's eye, well, if they're not talking about you, that's a pretty bad thing. It's better to be talked about than not be talked about.
That is true.
So, tell us the facts. And I know you have a story to tell. Try to sum it up. Let's just state the facts and leave the passion out of it. And I also, not a disclaimer, but I will say that anybody else on the opposition, everyone has a chance to speak on this show. There is such a thing as an ambush, though, in the old country. So let us have it.
I definitely agree with freedom of speech, and everyone is deserving of his or her own opinions. And I never sought to squash anyone else's opinion. But in my opinion, when you deal with this development company, you have to not consider them as being on your side necessarily. I mean, they have a history of suing the city of Kenosha when things didn't go their way. They have a way of working deals behind the scenes with your aldermen and with other officials in the governments, getting things done the way they want them done, keeping them out of the public eye until things push comes to shove. So Bear sought to develop my neighborhood into high-density, low-income housing, really at the taxpayer expense. This was kept out of the public eye until all of a sudden it exploded, and then the city council felt they were in a position where they could do nothing but try to get this deal canceled. So they got him on a technicality, but he turned around and sued the city. So if you're a taxpayer in Kenosha, you gave away millions of dollars to this development company. You'd think we would learn our lesson. However, Kenosha continues to do business with the same developer. So I was very pleased to hear that Pleasant Prairie decided not to. I think that was a very wise and prudent decision on behalf of their taxpayers.
Now it comes to bringing up to now when suddenly an eruption happened in Kenosha, and that really started with John Oldham starting the Keno Outdoor Group. And and again, Mills is involved. It is his property to do what he wishes with.
Absolutely.
But nevertheless, this is something that's really touched people's hearts in the community. It's something that was for the community, and it was one of the last family-orientated vestiges that we have left. And now, after it's just been kind of left to crumble, we can't find, now that the plans were turned down, I guess the point or direction I would say is to find somebody out there, or perhaps make as much noise as you can until somebody maybe buys the property from him. And he's a businessman. This is what he does. Everything's kind of relative, on your economic status. You got the guy on the low level deals with his circumstances. The guy in the big way's got a lot dealing with his as well. Sure. So to be fair, but
Yeah,
I would be much happier if he was the kind of person that would maybe give something back to the community somehow, in arranging for someone to get this theater and you know, save it, restore it.
Right.
You know, there are there are businessmen out there that are just, you know, very much like Steve Mills. They're not interested in philanthropy, or they're not interested in the arts or doing things creative.
Yes.
But on the other hand, and I know for a fact, there are also a lot of people out there with money that do like to do those things. So if this group could connect with the right person out there, they might have a chance.
Yeah.
The situation looks grim. I thought it did from the beginning. I knew this was coming,
Yep.
and but my heart was in it. And to have a gentleman like John Oldham, I don't think he's ever done anything like this before. Stepped up to the plate, and you know, create a group on Facebook with 2,000 members in 2 weeks. I couldn't have done that. I couldn't have.
Our next mayor of Kenosha, perhaps.
Oh, you're really stepping in a hot pot of water there. You're out. He's out in Pleasant Prairie anyway. He can't do nothing in Kenosha, which is what, you know. I don't know if visitors could have came or made comments at that meeting. Did people from Kenosha?
Yes.
Were they allowed to comment?
Yes.
Even though they didn't live in Pleasant Prairie?
Yes, we had an alderman come from Kenosha to speak.
Okay. Well, yeah, he was an alderman, but really in the limelight, you know, I can't vote on what happens in Pleasant Prairie.
Right.
And that's how I saw a woman bashing the trolley in the Kenosha News.
Yeah.
And then she signed her name, Pleasant Prairie. I'm like, they must have just printed that to make her look stupid, because that's what happened. So, you know, any final words on what you'd like to see move forward?
Well, by the way, I'm holding a piece of paper. This actually wasn't the script, but one of the things I do is I promote an event called the All Vinyl Lounge, and I decided to come in the All Vinyl Lounge attire today because it's important to consider that everything old is someday new, and vinyl records are very, very new right now for being very old.
Right.
Our event is very successful. We play very popular neighborhoods in Chicago, and we hope to move to Kenosha too.
Okay.
And so we have a lot of success by simply playing old records, something that people were throwing out years ago. And I hear a point of view once in a while, including one from the Kenosha News editorial staff, that's unfounded, you know, saying that the drive-in is passé, you know, kids don't go to drive-ins anymore. Well, that's nonsense. You know, we need more
I didn't
things.
understand that poke myself. I don't know where that came from, but certainly drive-in theaters are coming back as a tourist attraction.
Yep.
Just like vinyl, the kids are all into vinyl. Young kids are collecting vinyl of old punk bands that were around 30 years before they were born. You know.
Absolutely.
So you know, these old things do come back, but you know, I hate to, you know, knock my own town, and since we are very much doing an Orson Welles tribute tonight too, his kind of town Kenosha wasn't, and I could see why, because it's just this kind of thinking that we have in this town, that we're trying to be touristy, but with what? Yeah. You know, I think the drive-in should have been part of the plan, and well, you know, you gotta listen to the next people that run for office. Unfortunately, that was too soon for people to get a decision on making their decision on who was going to be in office in Pleasant Prairie. I understand there's another meeting too about the development on that. Well, do you know the date of that meeting?
I do not. We'll have to look that up here.
It'll be confirmed Friday, I believe it's
May 18th. That's not a Friday because the 16th is a Saturday. We're having a rally.
May 18th would be a Monday.
Okay, they would more than likely have a meeting on a Monday.
Yeah, last one was on a Monday.
Well, perfect. That was perfect timing on the rally, because this may be the last rally.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully the various members of the other groups step up, because I don't know about this moving thing. I'm sure it's possible, but still, we're talking some serious cash, and I don't know if you can make something happen like that nonprofit. But as you can see, I've got a setup here actually in the studio. If you look to that way, the other side of the room here, there's a large screen, okay, and a box goes above that can project onto that screen that size, and it can do it about 10 times bigger than that. Mm-hmm. So basically, you could make a pop-up drive-in. You wouldn't be able to have a parking lot, but you could do something in a piece of property in a yard and make a screen out of canvas. These projectors, you put a disc in there or whatever, and you can blow it up as big as a screen. You can keep your group together that way and plan events during the summer and still watch whatever movie you want, except it won't cost you anything. The projector would someone should buy the projector. Someone that's got that passion to keep that tradition alive. I think it's like, it would probably be about, you need a little amplifier, and the projectors are somewhere between 700 and 1,000. Okay. And of course, the bigger the price, the bigger the screen. Yeah. But, you know, just to try to at least keep a local flavor or something alive in that way.
I like that. I mean, we're protesting, and we have the right to protest, but we also have the right to make it fun. We don't have to...
It's got to be fun. You know why? Because it lost all its glitz and glamour with all its sophistication. Even though those sophisticated people and business-minded people, they might be good. They might pull something off. I can't say that. I would deny that. Yeah. But... you know, once you're out of the media eye, you know, you're losing your chances for someone that could really step in and save it and even make it happen this year. So with that said, here's some more crazy drive-in footage. Come on, you gotta get with us. The entire city of Kenosha should be with us. Oh, there you are, ghoulies, and well, that was a great show we had tonight. Lots of drive-in footage and fun, and Orson Welles and drive-in footage and facts, and now we have Don. What are your comments on this entire subject?
Well, what's happening here in Kenosha unfortunately played out in Aurora, Illinois about 9 years ago, and I made a documentary. We're still working on it. Same thing. Drive-in had been there forever. It was very much part of the community. A developer came in, decided he wanted to tear it down. It eventually got torn down even after the community had rallied. So, and right now it's still a vacant lot. There's nothing there, even though they tore it down.
Yeah, the Roosevelt Theater here in Kenosha, they did the same thing.
Right.
I tried to rally for the Roosevelt. Unfortunately, it had been closed so long, it wasn't fresh in people's memory. And once it did get torn down, then of course everybody was upset. I was upset. I will never forgive those who had a hand in that. And while it's wildly blamed on the city council and mayor that did finally make the raise order happen, it was delinquent owners that just left the roof started leaking. They thought it was a big deal, didn't even look to see what the problem was, and it was basically a little problem with some flanging that a bucket of tar could have saved the whole theater. Right. So yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, and there's no doubt that the Keno right now needs some TLC, but I think the community would be more than willing to help out and make that happen if it gets saved. And that's the important part.
All right, we got to keep the pressure on. That means there's going to be a rally, 39th Avenue and 80th Street on May 16th. That's a Saturday morning. A little easier than the Keno site, because at least you can get a refreshment or drop some kids off by the pool. Whatever you got to do, you know. It can happen on 80th Street and 39th Avenue. All right. And by the way, Hot Dog, I don't think I got your name.
I am the controller.
You know what? I thought that's what was going on here. Alien invasion on top of everything else tonight's show. Wait a minute. I'm thinking something profound here. Of course, alien invasion, because Orson Welles did read the famous play or the story on the radio that scared the hell out of America back in the day. And there was aliens. So aliens have infiltrated our society. They're disguised as businessmen. They're disguised as politicians. They're disguised as hot dogs.